look nice.
All right, we're standing by, guys.
I
Oh.
tell you.
Thank you for joining us here on NSU Where Great Things Happen. I'm your host, Cody Bork, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the interesting events and things happening here on Northwestern's campus. And it being 2009, it's the 125th anniversary of our university. And I've got President Dr. Webb going on his 14th year here to talk about the celebration along with Mrs. Maxine Sutherland, who co-chairs the 125th committee, and Mr. Jerry Pierce, who is the Vice President of External Affairs and helped co-author a book that we'll be talking about in a little bit. But to start off, Dr. Webb, when we talk about the 125th anniversary, what does that anniversary actually symbolize?
Well, I think it tells us a whole lot about our roots. It reminds us that we've been through 4 phases of growth in the university's history. We had the privilege of beginning as the state normal school in 1884. 1921 brought about an expanded mission when we became the Louisiana State Normal College. Then in 1944, a new name came on the horizon, Northwestern State College. And finally, in 1970, Northwestern State University made its debut. And so it's interesting that since 1970, for all this period of time, we had had the designation Northwestern State University, and that in itself is a 39-year anniversary going on right now, and a 40th next year as well. But it tells us that we've stood the test of time. This school has been around through the Great Depression. It's been around through all kinds of situations and has survived and even prospered in ways. It reminds us that we have a strong commitment to excellence in teaching here, and that goes all the way back to our normal school roots. And it's that we should take a great deal of pride in the fact that this school has been in a single location longer than any other school in the state of Louisiana, post-secondary education institution. And it also is it's the oldest school in the University of Louisiana system. So all kinds of things come to mind when we talk about the 125-year history of Northwestern.
And how is the university actually celebrating the 125th anniversary? Is there a centralized theme or?
We're engaged in a variety of things. For one thing, we've asked each academic department, for that matter any other area within the university, to designate a month during which they will celebrate. We've had several of those. We've already had a celebration, for example, with the Department of Military Science, although next year they'll be celebrating their 60th. So we, to the extent departments want to, we'll carry this over into early 2010 as well. Nursing, just last week, I went to their ceremony celebrating their 60th anniversary, its existence. It's hard to believe, but we were first in teacher education, first in nursing in this state with baccalaureate degree programs, and first in a variety of areas. And so we'll have a number of these that will be engaged in celebrations of various kinds. And of course, the biggest celebration of all, we hope, will be the homecoming weekend, and we hope that turns out to be especially nice for everyone involved. You mentioned a while ago Mr. Pierce having edited the Northwestern At 125 book. That's a masterpiece, and so that is something that can last indefinitely. We've also had commissioned a piece of music specific to the occasion by Richard Rose. Most recently, we've commissioned through Mr. Pierce's office a writing of a real special poem that will be read at the homecoming luncheon down at the event center and retained for posterity. So We're trying to do a number of things in addition to kicking off our second capital campaign in the history of the school.
Yeah. And we'll touch on the capital campaign along with the book in just a second. But Mrs. Sutherland, how is the 125th anniversary tied to the 100th celebration? Because we were talking a little earlier how big of a celebration that was. Is there any tie between the two?
It's, you know, it's amazing how much similar it is. When I took my annual and looked back over the things that we had done at that time, it was very, very, you know, each department did something special. The only thing that I know that we did then, I don't think we were having a big ball. They had a huge ball. 1,100 people attended that ball. And the Coliseum was beautiful. And it was just a huge affair. And at the end of the ball, we had a birthday cake with 100 candles. And Curlin Sutton used his grandfather, Captain Caspari's saber to cut the cake with lots of flourish, you know. And just things that made it, you know, memories, special memories.
We were talking a little earlier about how many balloons are up there, the purple and white balloons. I bet you that must have been pretty hard to get those balloons off the ceiling of Prather up there. I have to get like a little BB gun or something. But, you know, is there any activities that the committee is planning aside from those that we talked about? I mean, we touched a lot of committees with Dr. Webb's statements a little earlier, but is there anything that you as the co-chair and Dr. Horton as the other co-chair have planned specifically or anything along those lines?
Well, Friday and Saturday are so filled until I don't know how you could get another event in there. Starting out with the alumni art display in Hanchey, and then the golf tournament. I can't think of anything that is very different. You know, we're having the reception at the President's home. I think one of the things that I will enjoy most is they have the reception for the Long Purple Line. My first time to go to something special, and that is, you know, will be exciting.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.